Okay, we're started?
Okay.
Yeah, we're starting already.
Okay, so we're back, and we're with one of our dearest friends, our international friends. This is Tom Lowe, worldwide acclaimed big wave surfer. We've known Tom for a very long time, and he is a very well-known big wave surfer from England, known for his exploits in Ireland, Chopes, Hawaii, all of it. He's done the Jaws, the Mavericks, every big wave you can think of. And he pioneered a lot of the paddle spots in Big Ireland and at a lot of the big waves around the world. So he's here in Hawaii with his family, and we got him on the podcast.
Yeah, we finally got a guest.
We have a guest.
So where are you living now, Tom?
We
You
don't
bounce around a lot, huh?
Yeah, we don't really live anywhere. Like we kind of just base for a few months here, a few months there, depending on the season with the surf. With the fact that like Tiger Lily, my sort of eldest daughter, is like 5, we're not in that kind of like structured, got to be at school and all the rest of it quite yet. We're just coming up to it now, and I'm like, okay, where's home going to be? And it's probably going to be New Zealand, because that's where they're from. That's where my wife's from. So soon, probably this might be the last little run of it where we're like, okay, after here, 3 months in Hawaii, we're going to go to Europe for a bit, and then we're going to go to Costa Rica, then we're going to go to Mexico for like 3 months. So we're just going on one big kind of, last
Adventure
hurrah. And then I guess we're probably going to, hunker down in New Zealand somewhere.
That's nice.
It's a bit loose, it's like my wife loves traveling and the kids are just loving life in the moment, and
That's so awesome.
They're pretty lucky.
I think that's an epic way to grow up, too. I mean, we grew up, my mom had us kind of traveling around a lot, too, when we were younger, around that age. And you kind of learn a lot of things you would never be taught in a school, valuable things on the road that schools are going to teach you, especially nowadays. Schools are pretty weird.
Yeah.
Strange, huh?
Yeah.
Should we get into that?
It's pretty cool. It's really cool to hear you say that.
Yeah, go
First 5 minutes.
But it is cool to hear you say that, because like I have no idea how that would have sculpted you in some sort of way, because I didn't do any of that. I grew up with fuck all money and just like, so yeah, and then we would go on a little trip and then we come back, and it was just like Canaries is quite close. That was always a good one. Got into that when I sort of was in school. We had a few trips there because my mate had a house over there. So we go, do a couple of stints. But yeah, we never did all that traveling stuff. So obviously it's pretty cool to have that opportunity. And I'm assuming that would, have so many nice memories.
Definitely. And you just get exposed to, like, I guess, different cultures than, like,
Life.
well, like, you just think people are one way because you grow up in one area sometimes, and then when you get exposed, you get taught the lesson that, maybe you can't act a certain way, and certain cultures are different, and maybe it's not okay to be as loud and obnoxious at certain times, and you learn those lessons in the right way. And the way we did it, my mom was like, work, save up money, rent the house out, and go 3 months to Porto. And so we were like running around like, Porto, you're there every year.
I saw clips of you when you were just so skinny and little, and like then Ivan and that, and John was just tiny and
Schmiegel mode.
But then getting some bombs like at Carmelitas, these little dudes just sending it, and I'm like, and like old film, it was you kind of went there a long time ago.
Yeah,
you had a bit of time off though, because when I started going there, I'd be like, you went, I think you were like just Tahiti mode maybe, or other stuff going on.
Yep.
And you'd sometimes pop up, but like I always started doing my seasons, and then recently, like last handful of years, you've been coming down. It's always a treat to see you down there.
You've had some psycho ones at Porto.
It's good. I go there and I'm always riding like a 10.0 and like 10.6, and he's riding like a 7.0, and it's like 20 foot and sits in it's almost like you're surfing a different spot than me, because he'll sit 100 meters in to me, and I'm like, basically whenever I'm in there, I'm trying to control my breathing and thinking, all right, there's going to be a massive set and I'm going to get a 2-wave hold down any second, but you're sitting in there. You get any time? And I'm like, brother, fucking set on.
Set outside.
You get any good ones? Okay, see you in a bit. He's like taking GoPro shots of me as I go over the pool.
Yeah, right. Our last session there, you had that, it was not this last year, but the year before, and we surfed about 3 hours, and at the end you had that huge right, the crazy backhand barrel.
Yeah, I was sitting down.
Oh, I remember
Way,
that
way
wave,
far.
Yeah.
It's nice though because you can. That's what I like about
Yeah.
Porto is space.
Yes.
You're just like pipe.
That's what I don't.
The opposite.
That's
of
what I
pipe.
don't like about Porto is trying to chase down the wave. You're like this peak, that peak, and then all of a sudden you're like 400 yards down the beach from where you
Yeah.
thought you were gonna get a good wave.
Yeah,
That's
well,
like-
I guess you don't chase it, innit? Like just
Yeah.
you know, I
But they'll
guess
sit
I'm
there till
saying
the
that,
wind's
but
gone,
I'm
so-
a headless chicken there half the time. So what do I know? But
Yeah.
Tom and
basically,
Greg
you see
Long
Greg.
play
No,
the
if you
long,
see Greg,
play the long game out
just
there, and
sit
it
next
pays
to Greg.
off.
I was just gonna say that.
That's what everyone does though. Loads of the locals, man. I see him following him around, and sometimes I'm thinking he just wants to have a little chill. You know, he doesn't want to chat to anyone. Like leave him alone. But yeah, I tend to just find a space away from the people, and that's my go.
Yeah.
Like if it's busy and pumping, I don't surf in the good zone like ever, which
Yeah,
hurts because you're seeing people getting spat out of barrels nonstop. But
But that zone
Yeah.
too has its own nightmare of a crowd sometimes.
yeah,
It can be really hard to get away.
but then you know you just go down far bar and someone will come, you know, and it might not let you out, but at least you get your adrenaline fix and feel like you've done something
yeah.
that's felt good.
So when did you get into surfing in England as a kid, or did you start traveling to like Ireland and stuff?
No, I mean, you know, you do go to like Scotland Island because it's close by. You know, it's
Yeah.
all part of the same. You know, Wales. It's all our little, you know, unit, and you bounce around, but you're not like. I wasn't surfing growing up. I was like more into football, cricket, tennis, and stuff like that. And but I love the sea. You know, I don't remember any of it. Like my mum's always like, "Yeah, we could never drag you out the sea." You know, we'd have to be like, she'd be like, "Come on, it's tea time, or whatever." And I'd be like, just not want to get out of the water. So I love the sea, you know, and we had that around us. So we were super lucky. But it was just like in, you know, flat surf, like the calm beaches mainly. We weren't like, my dad doesn't surf and mum or sister or anything like that. But, you know, and he's into like, my dad's like a sportsman kind of vibe. You might not think that when you meet him because he's always just smoking a ciggy and drinking Coca-Cola. But he was real fit, you know, when, you know, before he got he got rheumatoid arthritis about probably, I don't know how long ago, maybe 15 years ago, and it just walloped his system, just wiped him, went from being like football, playing cricket together, you know, just action dad,
Yeah.
always
Crap.
sending it in the pub after the game, but legendary, you know, into like, just cruising, you know, and kind of
Yeah.
like a bit buggered. But
Is that just like you're in a lot of pain, or
It's-
things freeze up?
yeah, like your body's attacking itself, so it's like all your joints just swell up, and you know, to the point where it's so painful just to move, you know, like let alone walk, run. It's just constant like
Jeez.
pain. And
That's so rough coming
you
from
know,
athletic background.
Yeah, it's athletic. It's funny. I just can't put athletic and my old man in the same. But yes, you know, he could, you know, he'd beat me at stuff because
Yeah.
it's dad, right? You know,
Yeah.
he could get you on like core workout challenges and stuff in like,
Yeah.
or like something funny, or like, you know, he'd always bowl me out if I'm playing cricket because he'd just, you know, throw it at me. And I'd be
Same
like,
for you.
It's funny. I was always a pussy with cricket because these cricket balls like bowling at you real hard.
What's
I swear I
cricket
got
again?
so
don't
pissed
even know
off
what
from
cricket
that,
is.
from being a pussy. That's why I went so psycho surfing.
Well, crickets
probably.
are an insect.
Cricket. Is that? I'm thinking of badminton. You know, I'm thinking of badminton. The other one.
You guys don't even know what fucking cricket is. That's so
Cricket
good.
Is which one is
Crickets.
that? Is that
I
the
mean, you
net
got three.
and the little ball, the little net.
Crickets.
You've got three stumps. You know, three stumps, and they bowl the ball on a cricket bat, and they wear pads and white. It's very formal.
The bat has the net, right? A little net on it.
No, I think they throw the ball, bounce it off the ground.
Let go, brother.
They throw it
You're
like
on a
when they
different
pitch
thing.
it bounces off the ground and then they whack it. It's a trippy looking bat.
Oh, okay.
It looks like a paddle more than a bat.
What's the sport
was
that
good.
has a little net on it?
Badminton.
You don't want to let it go. He's like fixed on this net thing.
Yeah. It's like
gotta get
SpongeBob
this.
and Patrick, but jellyvision.
Are
Yeah.
you talking
It's the what's
like
the
hurling or
sport?
something
It's
in
got
like an
a
Irish
ball-
game? Or
Yeah.
what's he talking
Lacrosse.
Lacrosse. Oh,
Cricket
yeah.
and lacrosse. I was getting
Okay,
confused.
okay.
And badminton.
No, we
and
don't
then real
play it.
crickets because of Nate.
Yeah, we don't play lacrosse, man. We don't do lacrosse.
So like
don't know
what?
what-
So how did
Some
you?
brain damage
How
here.
did you get introduced to surfing then?
Same, mate. Don't worry about that.
Was it just someone gave you a board, or you got a board, or?
It's just locked in on me. Fuck off, mate.
Don't look too deeply.
When did you ride a big wave?
I'm starting to sweat.
Me too. Me too. Fuck.
Oh. Got me. You set me off. Okay. When did I start surfing? I don't even remember,
From
mate.
cricket to surfing.
No, I don't know. I mean, you bodyboard and playing the shorey and stuff, so I got used to like getting smashed on the beach growing up. That's why I'm crying.
Trauma.
That's where the brain damage started. But
Yeah.
no, and then you just, I don't know, people surfed, you know what I mean? And like, I didn't, as always, you want to rebel against your parents, usually, a little bit, even if they're cool. And so nobody really surfed and no one was doing it. I kind of felt like it was my own little thing. And so skateboarding initially was always what I did. And so I don't know why I like the concrete lines going around town. And so surfing kind of matched with that. And then I think I surfed like my mate, it was a lifeguard, his longboard. It was like this big pink board. I think that was the first time I started surfing. I just was like, he's like kept trying to get me on it because I was bodyboarding or something. And he was like, yeah, jump on that. Might have been around like 14 or something like that.
Sick.
And then, yeah, just cruise along on that and it felt good. And I'd take it out when it was big just because it was funny. And everyone would be like, look, Louis on that. And then usually I wear like my dad's undies and then stick it. You know, it's freezing at home.
Yeah.
And it'd be like winter and I'd take this big silly pink board out and then just paddle out when it's big and put it as a G-string. And we'd be like, yeah, go Louis. I'd be like out there like that. That kind of thing. But that was our whole kind of, yeah, we had a good little safe upbringing. It was all pretty mellow, but I mean, yeah, there wasn't many like pro surfers. Well, there's any.
Yeah.
Like, there was no one like that had stickers on the board or like that got paid. It was some good surfers though, so you knew like who had a good style and like
Yeah.
stuff like that. People like, yeah. So yeah, I don't know. I guess I got hooked when I kind of left school. Really, like when I left school, it was like I'm gonna go Indone. I'm gonna go Oz for as long as possible, get away from the rain and the cold. And as soon as I went to like, I was in Canggu first day, I was like mental, like, and I took my boards with me, surfboards, and then that was it really. I just kept wanting to get better and went to Lakey Peak and didn't go back to Bali for like a month. I was just at Lakey Peak. You know, we extended our, passports, when you could just get like a stamp for like,
Yeah.
A little sticker, take up a whole page.
yeah,
Yeah.
literally.
So you kind of like
You
fell in
give
love with
someone like
surfing
50 quid
yeah.
and then they'd stamp it for another month and you go surfing for another month. So it was
Yeah.
like, 16, 17 in Lakeys, went Super Suck, got that good and went Desert Point on the motorbike and did all that sort of stuff and it was quiet then. It was good fun. Yeah. And
It's
so
crazy because like
I was
like,
hooked.
fresh from hanging out with you and like spending the time we did together and hearing the stories, it's so different now. Like nothing happens without someone yelling about it on like social media. But I was like, just over the month of me and Tom hung out in Ireland, I would get these little snippets of stories. Like Tom was like down and towing the left, checking out the right, surfing Naraloo, going to Indo.
Yeah,
and then surfing like the Ireland waves, like
that was when Kirby, it was just he
What,
was
like-
just he was on everything down there. It
Yeah.
was crazy, and obviously like, all the Bra boys too. They were just like
but this is like
remember seeing all
15,
them
20
guys.
years ago.
Kobe was just Mark Matthews. That was,
It's just crazy that
Richie
that stuff
Vaz,
was
who
like
else
going
was there?
on,
Yeah.
and guys are thinking now like, like people are like, if someone went and did that, it might be like, whoa, that's like never been done before. But it's kind of like, guys were doing that like 20 years ago.
Yeah, they've been doing it. You guys have been doing it for a
They
long
were just
time.
a lot more quiet about it.
Yeah.
I think the weird thing is it's like too. I'm actually pretty fucking old. Let's face it.
Wait, how old are you?
It's probably not what you want to say on camera, because everybody knows. But you can still sponsor me. I'm kind of sick. No. Anyway, but really, it's like, I'm 40. Okay, so it's like, you know, I was late coming into the thing, you know, the whole like sponsorship thing too. It wasn't till I was about 22 or something like that till I actually signed like my first contract. It was like with Rip Curl and Vans, and then Vans kept with me and Rip Curl ditched me. So that was that. But yeah, so I guess really a lot of people think that I'm like, I think kind of young, maybe-ish, not like young, but like because I'm Instagram and like obviously you're getting after it and you're surfing the swells and that, and people are like, oh, sick, you know, you get invited to some of the contests and big wave contests and stuff, so people think you're part of the young generation-y kind of push or semi-young, but like I'm kind of like more, you know, yeah, like Greg and Healy and those guys, they're not that much older than me. I think Greg's the same age as me, Greg Long, and so yeah, I guess I've been surfing. What I'm trying to get to is like I was surfing, you know, some of the slabs and that quite a long time ago. You know, whether it's in Ireland and other places, West Oz and stuff like that. So yeah, we were lucky to have that. I feel really lucky to have had that era when it was just like underground stuff was going down. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm not done yet.
Definitely not.
No, you're still like
I'm after it. I love it.
more swells.
I've
than I
surfed
feel
with
like.
you before, and he's definitely not done.
Let's go Dark Horse.
There's still a couple.
Yeah, Dark Knight
Eyes roll
Rising.
back
Yeah.
and just going. It's still there.
Guys serving 30-foot
Well, like,
Mulligmore solo.
I honestly didn't know if it's still there or not, because you know, we've all been through it, all of us. When you get hammered,
Yeah.
you get a real bad wipeout like you did the other day, and you have to go, you know, back out there, and that's the only time that you'll actually know is whether or not when that thing pops up, you're going to throw yourself over the ledge, and how it feels after, during, and etc. And when we were all out there the other day, shouldn't say that or should say that?
It's
Is
fine.
it underground?
No, you're
No,
good.
there's 100 guys out at one point.
Okay, but I just don't know if it's not quite. You can edit that.
We
Anyway,
yeah,
we
we
can
can
cut
do
it
that.
if we want.
But anyway, when we were all surfing the Outer Reef, you know, that big session we had at the start of the winter, that was the first time I've been in some waves for 7-8 months or whatever it was since I had a bad wipeout, and I was like, who knows? And I obviously was real patient and took my time. I didn't want to just like take a silly wave for no reason. But
We got a crazy one.
Got
But
drained on
got
your first
barrel.
wave.
it was, it was just a lucky, like, you know, when the wave just comes to you and it's a nice, everything happened nicely. You know, so, and then I felt like it was more of a sign than a bomb and like wave. You know, it wasn't. I'm not trying to say it was like I got the bomb. That isn't what I'm saying. It's more like it felt right. You know what I mean? Like everything just felt right. And the fact that I did want to take off on it, and afterwards it was like, yeah, that's a good sign that I'm
I feel
meant
good
to
and,
still do it. You know?
Yeah. Because it could go the other way too. Like you get back out. That's been my fear, kind of.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't feel like I'm close to done by any means. Like I still have like a lot of drive
You're
and
young,
fire.
brother, yeah.
But like after getting hurt, I'm like, especially like right after the injury, I'm just like, God, like why am I doing this? Like every swell, like all of like both of you, I'm like, what if I just get back out there? I just don't feel it anymore, and I just get hurt again, you know? And those things are like running through your mind a lot.
But you grow a lot from it, you know. That's the thing, and your experience now. Like it's not your first rodeo as such. You know, you've been hammered before. It's just a case of like, maybe you can just pick your days. You don't have nothing to prove, you know. So it's like, you know, when you're here at Pipe, like it's a gnarly place to have to represent, you know, season after season. There's a lot of pressure on you, and it's like, maybe just pick the best day, and if you don't get the wave, well, whatever. It's just not the day. Like, who cares? Because you've got the waves, you've got them all before. So, yeah, like maybe that mindset, you know, that kind of like, I don't know. Like that's how I feel about, say, like Mulligmore and these other places. You know, I'm like, well, I've surfed them a lot over the years, and I've had some special waves, and I know that there's waves I could have got that are better, but I'm not going to try and force it, and I'm just going to like feel it out. And if the winds aren't right, I'm just going to watch it. There's no pressure, whatever.
Yeah.
Or like I don't have to go on every swell.
That is a good way to think, especially as you like are transitioning out of that part of your career where you're just like every wave, every swell, like you're on. You have to be on the best one.
It's hard to make that call though, because you like.
Yep.
You just still feel the pressure
Well, you're
Instinct,
literally
mate.
surfer of the year because of that reason today, like right now.
because of the FOMO.
Yeah, just go. I have to be there.
Yeah.
Like I gotta be on
But
everyone.
it's
Like
almost like half my age. Like I feel like, how old are you? Like 28 or something? 26? Yeah,
29.
you're a young blood.
You're about to be 30, right? In
Yeah,
June.
I was
30 in
obsessed
June.
with throwing myself over the falls when I was your age. Like I
think we
actually
all-
think
yeah.
I kind of wanted to die at your age. I was like, fuck it. I was real self-destructive.
I can't even imagine like from what you were saying, like first ever paddles of like waves that should only be towed and solo, like sometimes, or just with one other buddy, or like in the dark, and like there's not like the best safety. There's might not be have been flotation. Like
no safety, no pullback.
No
these
safety.
guys are like forging ahead, like
Yeah.
in the dark of winter,
feel
in
like
a
I-
place where winter is real. You know, it's not winter Hawaii. It's like,
Yeah, like
hey, you're in a
snowy
6
ass
mil with
winters.
hoods, gloves, booties.
Yeah, but I had, you know, when you got like rad, like not mentors, but like I connected with the crew in Ireland that is them through and through. So it was just like that. It's not what you had to like live up to necessarily, but it just molded you, and it
Huh.
kind of like it brought you out of you as well. I was like, yeah, that's me too. Like I love that. You know, when it's going wild out there, I'm well keen to be the first one to have a little sniff.
It's epic.
You know, that kind of vibe. I always
Yeah.
knew that was in me, because it's like, you know, I don't know whether I don't like to think it's just ego, but there's a bit of ego in it.
Definitely.
And proving, or like to yourself, it's
Yeah.
like you against yourself thing, and there's all sorts going on, or, you know, this legendary shit going on, but then in
Yeah.
yourself, which is all, you know, funny bollocks really. But it is, you need a little something to get you up in the morning.
Yeah,
But at the same,
for sure.
especially on days like that.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you had like, yeah, guys that were like, they were actually showing me the wave. So they found it, you know what I mean? And it was
Yeah.
like,
We're
they
talking
were
about
inspiring
Mulmore
me.
here?
Lots of
Or
the waves.
Aileen's
There's
or-
All
Aileen's
of
and
those.
Riley's,
Yeah.
and, you know, yeah, there's lots of places that my friend Mickey Smith found and pioneered with his bodyboard friends, and, you know, it's shown a lot of people a sort of. It's so funny how many people's lives he changed because of the fact, you know.
Yeah.
So,
The
so
fact- yeah,
cool.
he found those waves, and
And then Fergal Smith, you know, you'd have probably come across Fergal,
Yeah, I remember
the Irish guy. Yeah.
meeting you guys in Tahiti, actually.
years
Or watching
ago.
you guys surf.
Yeah.
You, Fergal, and Dingo was there too. Dean Morrison.
Yeah.
This was a while ago. I don't know how old we were. Teenagers.
We were
Billy,
teenagers.
Billy was with you. I think.
But was he?
Billy
Yeah, I
was
think
there
it was.
one swell.
Yeah, we might have been like 16 years old.
Yeah.
And I just remember watching you guys were like the slab guys, like always seeing your part, like movie stuff and like whatever
Sending
came out.
it.
And then I would watch these waves come in, and Chopa was like a super scary wave when it stands up, you know, like the whole
It just
ocean
pops,
stands.
doesn't it?
Yeah.
It freaks me
And
out.
you guys were the first surfers besides the bodyboarders that I saw when the wave popped up. You guys were turning and going.
And
Whereas
staying under it.
Yeah, staying under it and taking off under the ledge. Whereas when you first get out there, in my mind, I'm like, I'm going to get conside. Like, get
Yeah.
out. And I'd be looking back, and one of these guys would be
Yeah.
just knifing it down the face. I was like, oh. So that's what we have to do.
Mm-hmm.
And like, those guys are gnarly.
Ferg was really tech. He was
Yeah.
very.
He had
very
that pop
technical.
drop down
Yeah.
so
Yeah,
long
the
before a
knife.
lot of guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was. I mean, that's it. You know, so I had Fergal to like look at, right? It was good, you know, because I'd more be after like the really doubly uppy, like scary thing, and think if I can make that though, it'll be like better than all of his put together.
It's the one. Yeah,
You know,
that's
like,
the
so
one.
we were like competitive.
Yeah,
But then I'd be like, yeah, no, boom, and get smashed, and snap all the balls, and you know, and all that. And then I'd always come up in the lagoon or
Yeah.
near it, and then he'd be like pulling off, and I'd be like, fucking bastard, you know, have to swim all the way around.
he spent the time in the lagoon too, though. Like
Oh,
he had
hell.
some crazy ones.
He's
And
paid
these
his
guys were
dues.
like,
yeah.
because I remember even we would be on like a boat or something, but you guys are paddling out from the point.
That's
and then
Mickey though.
Every lagoon trip was the mega paddle all the
Yeah.
way around. You make a mistake, you're paying 45-minute trip for it.
But
Yeah.
that's how Mickey did all of it. Like honestly, it's just cool, you know. Like he went over there like back when, you know, it was just like Mike Stewart paddling it, and so, you know, there was like
Yeah.
somehow certain people like Mike Stewart and people like that, they gravitate towards these pioneering moments in surfing history almost, and like they start riding waves before they've been ridden in that way or whatever else, you know, whether it's Kirby, you know,
Yep.
Australia and, you know, all that. But there's, you know, Laurie Towner doing it the way he's done it. Yeah, there's
Mhm.
loads of these guys, right?
Yep.
But it's so cool. Like Mickey was one of these people. He's a photographer, filmer, but he's a great surfer too. Like really
Yeah.
good bodyboarder, and hung around down in South Oz, West Oz, East Oz, Luna's, all these spots you went to, you know what I mean? He was there when it was all just happening. And so, yeah, he's from my hometown, this guy, right? And so when he's over in, like, I'm in Tahiti, he brings me there, right? Lowe, this is, and starts talking to me about it, you know? And so I learned so much from him. And, like, out of all the people I know, he's the person I look up to the most as far as just a solid human and, you know, inspiring. So, yeah, that's why me and Ferg were also pushing it, because he was there. I feel like he just was the driving force of our little team, you know?
Yeah.
That's so cool. It sounds like he's been a part of like a bunch of generations doing it too.
Yeah.
And he's the one that found all the waves in Ireland and
with
stuff.
the original bodyboard cruise.
No way.
Yeah, it's surreal. Imagine that.
That's crazy. And so he kind of just like took you in, especially over there, those guys?
So Mickey, like I say, he's from Cornwall, from England, like born in the same town as me, you know, so we grew up knowing each other, but at the same time, we weren't like tight like that because we're from different towns, and he's a little bit older than me. Anyway, like he was already off on his creative adventures and doing his thing long before I went over to Ireland and started traveling with him. Do you know what I mean? So he was already like legendary in Cornwall because like he was getting these photos run in different magazines and just real great musician and singer and all the rest of it. So he was already this radical dude. But, you know, I just phoned him out the blue. I was lifeguarding and washing dishes, trying to save up money for the winter. And then I phoned him up and just was like, he was in Ireland. I was like, yeah, I really want to come and check out Ireland, you know? And he was just like, come and stay at my house.
Wow.
And so I said, yeah, but I've got a couple of mates with me. He's like, yeah, sweet. And so him and he had, you know,
looking for people to surf with.
Yeah.
Well, him and Rivka, his girlfriend, they were like, yeah, they're upstairs and we were downstairs just stinking out the house, you know, and like he was just stoked to have units around that were keen on the vibe, and he's just loves energy. And
he was shooting you guys.
Yeah, so he was like photos mainly, but he would just do a bit of all sorts, to be honest.
What a legend.
And he's one of them people that's like, you know, you're around him like now, and he's like playing on his ukulele, like playing on his guitar as you walk in, and things are happening. He's just vibrating, and he's just like, or puts on music, and it's his music. Stuff's kicking off. You know, you look on the screen, and he's just going through like images, and you're like, whoa, that's mind blowing. Like, what have you been up to? And he was like swimming the other day when it was like 20 foot on shore by himself in the backwash, and you know, you get lost at sea. And he's a real like tapped in character on another dimension. So like, I was stoked to vibe on his
that's
momentum.
Really cool.
And then he took me down like that Riley's wave, you know, the slab, that left slab. It's like a one you toe, and it's like real shallow,
mutated. Like,
I think I know which one you're
flat
talking
bottom
about.
one.
Yeah.
So that particular wave which is really special to me too, but like more just like because of like that was the first time it was ever surfed, and I was just in the right place at the right time, and he was just like took us down there. So like me and Paul Morgan, and then like Pierre, you know, the bodyboarder, Pierre Louis, the bodyboarder from France, but he lives in Portugal. He's a charger, you'd know who he is, legend. And then we just turned up, and it was pumping, and I'd never seen a wave like that. I was like, I don't know what to do with that thing, but we're paddling out with Paul.
And you guys were the first to surf it.
Yeah, because Mick was like going to head around on the ski, because he's like, we need a ski on this thing, because it's like you're going to have to wang in on this, because it wanging in, like it's just like ding. Well, that's what it is, isn't it? It's just like there you go. There's a like 10-foot barrel. And, you know, 1 minute you're like, you can't surf, and you're like from England with I had like a 6'8" epoxy board with like little K fins in it, and like it was the worst shaped board ever.
Oh my god!
And you know, next thing you know, I'm on like the wave of my life in like a minute, because I managed to crawl up to my feet behind the rope. Whee! I was, water skiing. Yeah, I used to start on my knees. Ask the boys, I promise. And that was for like fucking 5 years.
Wow.
I'd be like Mully like this. And they'd be like, come on, Lowe, he's here. I remember feeling the pressure, because it would be coming in, and I'd be like, wait. And then I'd get the foot up, and I'd be like, fuck, I'm going. And then I'd just fade it and go, you know. So I'd just backdoor it in the right way, and then sometimes I'd just like not. But what I mean is that how good's like jet skis for getting pulled into waves that you really shouldn't be in almost, but it's
like
cool.
truly unpaddleable waves.
It's really that.
Yeah.
These are just
Barrels,
like
you know?
waves that there's no possible way, not like
Yeah.
some sloped out thing.
Yeah,
So
I mean,
there is a way.
I've been thinking about that wave you got at Chopu recently, that flipping humongous
The
one.
toe
How old
one.
were you when you towed into that thing? Because
I
that shocked me. It's like it's
crazy.
embedded in my brain.
Me
Still.
too.
Yeah.
I just saw that image and it was just like, I cannot compute this thing.
So psycho.
Like,
Yeah. I was 18 years old when I got that wave. It was just dumb luck, pretty much too.
just don't ever go back, I'm saying.
I
Done.
know.
I mean, go back and have a lovely holiday and enjoy the beautifulest place in the world, but you don't even need to go surfing there ever again.
he had the Laird towing him.
Yeah.
The
Laird.
ultimate.
The Laird was towing
ultimate.
in. But it's a great. I've told this story before, but he whipped me on like 6 tiny ones. He was just like, he was been good friends with my family and us for a super long time. But he saw me just like out of the corner of his eye, and I was just like waving, like, oh, like whip me in. He's like, oh, whatever, Grom. Like, I felt like he was almost trying to like just whip me in a couple, like not
And
thinking
you'd be
much
so-
of it, and yeah, I'm just
Yeah.
done. And then he could pick up like Raymana or someone
Yeah.
else who like we're gonna get the bombs. And then I was just like, one more. It just so happened to be Laird.
You guys
time.
were kind of on the way back out too.
And he was trying to put me on the boat, and I was like, no, just one more. Come on. Like a big one. And he's like, okay. And then we just started gunning it. And he was just yelling at me, like, you better fucking go, Grom. Like, I just like screaming at me. And then up on the ski, just waving everyone coming in because we're coming from the boats.
From the channel side.
Like literally 60 miles an hour. Just cut every single person off.
You almost like slingshotted the thing.
Yeah,
pretty
no, we
much.
did a U-turn in front of everyone, and I was just looking at guys driving skis. I'm just like,
And that wave was like
Going.
so much bigger than anything that had come that day.
How surreal.
Yeah.
So I was towing Kamale.
yeah.
He had forced me to tow him.
Yeah, you were towing.
And
at
I was on the boat.
17
He drives
God.
up and he goes, "Get on the ski. You're towing
And
me."
you can't say no, can you?
I said, "Kamale, I've never towed anyone. I don't care. Get on. I can't come get you. I don't know how. Get on the ski." And I was just out the back. I remember seeing that wave and seeing you guys come out of the channel. The wave was a mountain, and I just took my hands off
so
the
you
throttle.
were out there. on
I
the
just sat
ski.
back on the ski. Yeah, these
Kamale
guys roused me for
would've
the
loved
last
that,
20 years because I didn't know to stand up while towing. So I was sitting like lowrider while doing
fat
it.
boy
Like
Everyone's just snaking you.
yeah,
He's on his fat boy Harley stats.
full Harley mode. Like
Classic.
towing him into like, I was just too afraid to even be in the way of anyone. But yeah, that wave was just, you guys whipped the corner on it. And I was just like, oh my God, my
Yeah.
friend's dead.
Yeah, I thought I was gonna die
I can
underwater.
imagine. I
And
can
then Larry
imagine
picked
that
me
of-
up and was like, I
yeah.
thought you died. I was like, I'm alive.
Wow.
The distance you
Wow.
traveled
Yeah, the distance
from the
I-
beatdown was
I
just.
ended up at the green channel marker.
in the flats. Oh,
looking
over there.
at the green channel marker. And
Like-
Laird was looking for me like 50 yards too far
I
out.
can't even imagine the amount of water that goes on in there on them days. I've not
Yeah.
seen one of them yet.
Crazy.
Spooky. So much
Craziness.
energy and like
Yeah.
power. The next day I woke up, I crashed Nate Fletch's honeymoon that night because Makua was in the hospital.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to go into town because he hit his face on the reef just before that wave.
Paddle session.
Yeah, before
Day
it got
before.
giant. No,
Was that
That
was that
day.
morning?
yeah, it picked up.
Oh my gosh.
Midday, right then.
Is that when he paddled on the big board and tried to go on that bomb?
Yeah,
Oh,
that day.
Nate Fletch
Yeah.
tried the.
Yeah.
I love that he tried that theory.
He was going off on me about it the other day. He still believes in it.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
I don't know if it
listening,
can. I
'cause
don't know if it can
trust-
fit in the face. I
There's
don't know
anyone
if it
to
can fit in
trust.
the face.
And like, I'm
But-
like, you know what? Like,
If you
I'm
got
trying to
in-
say, what should I be riding at Mully? He was like, I haven't really, looked at it properly. And I'm like, trying to pick his brain, you know?
He almost did it. He almost
He
did
really
it.
did.
Paddled a tow wave. That was his goal, and he rode a. What was it? An 8.5.
I'm not 8'6" or something. Yeah.
Crazy.
he almost he like really almost had it. I
Mm-hmm.
feel like if he just tried a couple more, he would have been like.
And that
right
was like
there.
way back. So it's like, obviously, you've done some
Well, then Nate paddled
pretty
a
weird
actual tow
stuff.
wave.
Yeah. You've done some mad stuff.
This Nate,
Yeah.
that bomb.
Yeah. Was that same swell?
No, this
No.
was
Yeah.
years later.
Yeah. I remember. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was
crazy.
another.
That was crazy.
That was another like give up and just not give up, but like
just
another
put-
like you're all right. Chopu sent you the gift.
Well, that was just like
Yeah.
you're saying. Like you and
From another
Ferg, Koa had
universe.
just gotten a super bomb, and
Oh, yeah.
I was like, I have to go on the
have to do
darkest
something
one I
different.
see.
I
Yeah.
ate
Sick.
shit
Sick.
and ended up in the lagoon, and I get on the ski. Someone picks me up, and I look out and I just watch Nate paddle into like what honestly looked like a tow wave especially from in the lagoon.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my God,
that
there's
wave
no
was
way he's
so
coming out.
mad the way
And
he
then he
rode
just
it.
flew out. I was like, fucker.
Yeah, that's some,
Yeah, fucker.
That's
The
some
code's not
freaky,
gonna
like-
one up me today.
That was
Florence
that was
shit.
when I
like,
just
that's some
did. We
weird
just
shit.
were like,
We were
Super-
so head to head.
Yeah.
I was so worried to go to Tahiti those years. The plane ride over was so stressful because he was on the plane, and I was just
You
like,
know
"This
it's gonna go back to
is
back."
gonna make it so scary."
yeah. It just but
brings
We-
out
it brings out the best. It
Yeah,
brings
the
out the
best
best,
and
yeah.
the worst.
Or the worst, yes.
Fucking hell.
I mean,
yeah, or the worst.
it's trippy, right? Like, so you say you had that big wipeout on the mega one. You 500 yards underwater in a single hold down.
Yeah, I don't even
where that
know.
green marker
yeah,
is.
literally like so far in.
But then you have
Then you have me over here jumped over on a 3-footer.
and
And
ribs.
smacked my flipping, punctured my lung and broke
Oh,
6
shit.
ribs and my
Dude,
shoulder.
That was when we were there
Forgot
for
about
that.
that.
You guys were there,
swell.
brother.
yeah,
But-
we were
And
there.
Tom nearly perished.
I was in the hospital whilst you guys were living the dream. Mind you, then it rained. So at least you had a little bit of my vibe.
But that was
no,
like
I shouldn't
super
laugh about
scary.
that. That
like,
was actually really bad.
he was
that
actually
flood
like near
for
near
death
Tahiti.
bleeding
right
out,
there,
near
yeah.
bleeding out internally.
Yeah,
Scary.
that was one of them situations where you didn't have like help from doctors that you just don't make it, right?
Yeah.
So that's like when it's a bit like
Scary.
questionable. You're like, But that being said, I kind of never felt like. So when I hit, I actually thought it was more of like reef cut through wetsuit
Like I'm
jobbing, and this is
gashed.
disgusting. This is going to be like really gnarly than internal issue. But it soon quicks in pretty quick when you can't breathe very well, and you go, this is a bit different.
Fuck.
And then I was like, oh, but I'll get grabbed by the skis. And so you got that decision, you know, where you either let yourself get washed in and there's a couple of double ups and you
Yeah.
get washed into safety, or you try and attempt to kick out floundering like a little like stunned fish, you know, in the water
Yeah.
where they got hit by the bat. Like, I was just like, yeah, I'm just going to try swimming in or out. I don't know what I'm going to do. And I just went woohoo,
That's
over the falls to the next
so
one. And I'm
gnarly.
like, this is going to be full on. And then, yeah, I could get little breaths in, obviously, because it took about, I don't know, half an hour. I don't really know with time, but it took a long time to get from the point of injury where the surf was to the
to
shore.
the point.
Because I was just so uncomfortable. But I knew what I'm getting at. I knew I was going to make it there. Do you know what I mean? It wasn't like I wasn't going to make it to like civilization. But I was quite bizarre because no skis copped on that I was buggered
Hurt.
because I
Yeah.
couldn't wave or do anything. I couldn't
Shit.
do anything. All I could do was hold on to my board to keep myself afloat. Like, because
Yeah.
everything else was fucked. So it was just like,
It was
And were you
so
just, like,
I was just, and I
Like-
couldn't say anything because I couldn't breathe hardly. I was just like,
oh my god.
And I was just like,
Jeez.
the survival mode.
Here we go. And then I just went into a whole other dimension. Everything else after that was just like, I went to like the moon and back and
Oh my
down into the
God.
core of the earth and all over the bloody shop. Like, honestly, it was a
Jeez,
trip.
dude.
I felt like I was tripping for like the entire day, in and,
And
out.
then-
And every once in a while I'd come back and then see a doctor and be like, and I'd listen and be like, yep, I computed that. I'm grounded. I'm a human. You're a doctor. Then I'd be like, am I gone again?
That's so gnarly.
Vortex. I'd be off in this other dimension for a while, and I'd be like, maybe I'm never actually going to come back and be normal again. You know, like
Jeez.
maybe I'm going
Yeah.
to live. I saw myself as a person that couldn't walk or do anything or talk, and I was just going like that. And my wife was so upset, and my kids, and I was just like so bummed about it. I was just like, oh shit.
So scary.
It's so
But I wasn't.
terrifying.
I was actually being worked on in a good way. Everything was stable. I was never critical. I was only critical when I had the internal bleeding, and then they did a blood transfusion. There was never even though they had to do that. There was never a moment where they were like, "Oh my god, emergency!" Like he's dying. Like I didn't feel like that according to what they've told me and the general kind of procedures involved. But how it felt.
But they medvac
was
you
like
from
that.
Terravale, right?
Oh, there was definitely action. It was like, yeah, well, as soon as
Yeah.
they saw me in the first hospital, it was like action time. And I remember the pilot, or what have you, did you call him a pilot in the,
yeah.
even in
Yeah.
helicopter? I'm like,
Yeah.
is he really? No, he was super cool. And he was too cool though. He's trying to be like funny and nice, and he was. And I was just like,
You're like,
Don't
I
look at
don't
me.
feel well.
Just get
I don't
me-
feel well.
Make
Your jokes
make
aren't
me
hitting.
better.
Dying.
Just like
Literally
give
dying
me
right
something that takes me away from this world of
Yeah.
pain. But,
So what you're saying about like when you kind of like were traveling to the moon, like
okay,
to the
yeah.
Earth, like
You really want to go there? Though?
are you,
I'm into it. But
Are you like what?
what do I mean?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like were you
Well, it's
under
hard to-
surgery or was this
Well,
like
that's the thing.
when
It
you
was
were
in and out.
losing
No,
blood or-
when I was in the helicopter as
Yeah.
well, when I was in the ambulance, when I got to the ambulance at the path at Chopu,
Yeah.
like, you know, when I got across the bridge with help and then got into there, that's where it all started. And so what it would be, I don't know whether I was conscious or unconscious. I
Yeah.
guess I'll never really know that because it's like, who was there to talk to? Like these most 95% of the people throughout that 2-3 days of like the critical or the first 48 hours of critical kind of action or whatever it was, I didn't speak any English really. So it was like the doctor himself, before he did the transfusion and surgeries on
Yeah.
me to drain the blood out and things like that, he spoke English, the doctor himself, but then all the nurses, all the people in the ambulance didn't. So it was just like, I don't know,
Language
and I'll
barrier.
never really know what was going on
Jeez, that's
around
so
it.
Crazy.
But yeah, it was basically like I'd, you know, almost like I'd almost like pass out
Yeah.
in a sense. Like it would go like dark, and then I'd have this overwhelming feeling of like fear and dark kind of void energy
my gosh.
and like woof and heaviness and like tone of sound. And I would sometimes see things that were
Yeah.
like in a, you know, could be like a, like almost like geometric-y kind of shapes, but like real sporadic and dark and sucking me into this like really heavy place that was like really scary, and I didn't like it. But then also through that there was huge peaks where I'd just be like bing, and then it would be like the highest pitch and the white and the light, and I'd be like ging, and it would just be like for ages, and I'd just be like wow, like that, and it would just be a feeling of like pure, you know, whatever, all the words that go with that.
Yeah.
So it was a bit of both, and it was each experience was slightly different. There was like times when it was like this massive formed of like shape that was almost like this huge tree of crystal thing that was cool.
Jeez.
It was like awesome. I saw this
Yeah.
massive crystal thing with a big shining light, and that part of it was awesome too. And I was like, wow, you know, and like, where did that come from? I don't know what that is. I can't say I've seen it before or again.
That's
so
crazy.
Things like that were happening within it, you know,
Yeah.
of like down the road, whether it was later on in the surgery or not, I don't know. But, you know, I was speaking to my phone at times to like my wife, you know, I think, you know, and I do remember some of the bits in there, but I don't really know what was being said. I just know that she sounded pretty worried, you know.
I can't imagine. I bet
Like,
she was like,
Because she didn't really know what was going on.
And
really.
and what was the injuries? You broke your ribs, but there was other like through the
Really,
lungs.
what it was, yeah, it was the lungs that were worrying, and it was the internal bleeding. Those were the two
on your
things.
spleen or like
No,
just
I think it's
organs?
just internal bleeding in general. I think when you lose that amount of blood, no matter where it is internally,
Yeah.
it's dangerous, right?
Yeah.
So specifically, which part? Well, I'm assuming it was this whole fucking area,
Fuck.
or whatever the shit's
Yeah.
in there.
Was your
I know-
skin ripped up too, like you thought, or
What
just
was?
your skin from the reef, or
No,
it wasn't?
No.
Oh, just impact internal.
Yeah, whatever I got hit by, it was like pretty.
because
you
when
know,
your bones
uh,
break, they get really sharp, right?
Well, there's-
so it must have cut you up on the inside.
Yeah, it was all on the inside, exactly.
Yeah.
Like things shatter and things, but not as there wasn't like that shattering where they need to do surgery, which is a real positive too. So on the bones to straighten
They just
them
had
out
to
and things
drain
like that.
you out.
So we're like Dylan Longbottom, he had to have surgery
Yeah.
because there was a lot of like shattering action and whatnot. So they had to drain me out, and I had to have 2 bouts of that as far as surgeries, but the tube in my side had to stay in for like, I don't know whether it was like 5 days or something. It's just this thing, and you're carrying around the big
That's-
bag of blood that's yours, like, 'cause
Wow.
it's coming out. And then they gauge how much blood comes out, whether or
And
not
they
you
put it
need
back
not
in.
more action or. it's going to take a level deeper, and you're like, oh, please don't do it again. You know,
And you're just in a foreign country and like, help.
Oh God, can't
Like-
understand anyone but the one doctor.
Yeah.
That is so gnarly.
But I had that, you know, Vita, like David.
Yeah.
He came over that night it happened and was super stoked. And my mate, who is now my really good mate, Sully, he was like, he was over there staying with him, and he's like a good friend of Cotty's and that, an English guy, and he just was like, had my back. He's like, I'm flying the girls in. Didn't even know me. The girls are flying in. I've contacted Tess. I'm like,
Wow.
how do you know Tess? And what's going on here? Yeah,
Who
so,
are you?
You know, thank
Who
you.
are you?
Yeah, I was just like, thank you, like, you legend.
What an awesome dude.
And like, you saw what happened following. It was like, you know, obviously I was, I had, you know, the travel insurance didn't cover me, which was, we wouldn't need to go into that detail, but it was a pretty tough spot I was in. So Greg Long, without me even knowing, set up a GoFundMe thing without me even knowing, and like contacting my wife and all the rest of it. Next thing you know, he's like, brother, don't worry about that. You just worry about getting better. And
Yeah.
pretty much the whole, like, anyone you've ever met on planet Earth basically stepped forward and just hooked a brother up. And I was just like, and not only that time in Tahiti, because I couldn't fly home for like 4 weeks or whatever it was, so we just stayed there. And that time was so surreal, because it was just like, I was so overwhelmed with, like, I feel like everyone was putting out good vibes my way, and I was just like, man, this is epic. And the amount of good messages that came forward was like people that I hadn't connected with since I was a kid, and you know what I mean? It's pretty amazing when we all put our sort of mind and we all sort of do something at the same time, how effective it can be. And it makes you think how we could, like, literally, if we could change planet, like Earth, into a better place. If we just, for instance, went, all right, we're up for it, let's all take 5 minutes out of our time to do one thing at the same time. It would almost be like, sweet. You're like, if we all, let's plant a tree all at the same time. Like once a day, we have to just do that for a week, and then it's like, boom, planet Earth changed. Like, wow.
It's crazy, huh?
Stuff like that got me thinking. I was just like, man, maybe and I'm like, I'm going to do stuff like good for others and all this, you know, and then next thing you know, you're just chasing swells again. Being selfish.
Like, my way.
No, I'm not. I mean, I'm aware of, like,
Yeah.
things. I've always
Well,
tried to
like
take
it.
care of my...
We're glad you're okay.
We're glad.
That was super scary.
Terrifying
But,
story.
So your time you've been here, have you got any good waves besides that day we were talking about?
Are you saying that on purpose because you were watching me the other day at Pipe?
How does Pipeline make you feel?
I'm going to take a deep breath before... No, I mean, look, it's a special wave, which is why we're all there. And it's so rewarding when you do get what you're after, or at least anything close to what you're after. So that's why I'm doing it, and that's why I'm here. But, like, yes, it's completely mentally and physically the most draining place I've ever tried to surf, as far as, like, attempting to, like, line up the right wave with the crowd. It's so intimidating on all fronts. So it's like I can relatively speaking be fairly, like, comfortable and safe in my little zone where I am. Like, you guys are doing the double up psycho stuff on the inside, and I'm good, thank you. I can just stay away from that crowd and that intensity of the wave, which is super, super gnarly. And I'm like, yeah, I'm all right. I'll just look for my roll in, you know, out the back. So I'm on a bigger board, I'm sitting out the back, and I'm looking for that little chip shot and things. And so you can kind of dodge any nasty behavior on the inside. You're not hitting the reef so much, you're not getting washed in. It's pretty safe, as long as, you know, you're still taking it seriously, like. But
It is a bit more relaxing.
I'm doing a
out there.
different thing, yeah. So that's my whole thing, and I haven't got any good ones yet this season. I've lined a few up, but it just didn't happen. You know, there's a lot of people that are after it, and you got to respect the local crew, and that is what it is. And so I'm a little bit defeated at the moment, because I had, like, it wasn't good pipe, but it was still some really good waves coming in every once in a while, and I'm happy with even the scraps, so that'll get me stoked. But I couldn't even really get that. Like 3 days out there, 6 hours a day.
Oh my gosh.
I coming home, the missus is like, The kids both had the flu too, so they were like sick. So she's like, "How'd you go, babe?" Like super positive. I'm just like,
Dark.
you know, it's all good, darling. You know, and once you see the kids, you kind of like turn a corner. You're like, yeah, whatever. It's a big picture here. It doesn't really matter. But you know, yeah, that's how it's been so far. I haven't really lined that one up or whatever. But
I mean, it hasn't been the best pipe ever.
No, that's
either.
a lot.
It's been a pretty bad winter so far.
Yeah, that's a lot.
I
of
think
people's
it's-
story actually.
Yeah.
compared to like these other winters I was here, like this has definitely been the worst winter I've ever seen as far as that wave. I haven't
Yeah.
seen
Yeah, no.
that wave do its real beautiful
Mhm.
trade, like beast mode, spit every wave. Like you guys are just like,
We haven't had
Everyone's
trades.
getting their
We've
one,
had
you know?
southwest winds for a month straight. It's
Yeah.
the most bizarre.
Right now it's straight
ever.
west winds. It's been straight west for like days.
We're dominant east wind every year
Yeah.
forever, and then now we have
I didn't come last
a month
year,
straight.
but the year
True.
before, remember a couple of years ago, it was like, I think it was COVID kind of vibes.
The
Remember
waves
when
were
it was
really
pumping
good.
for
Yeah.
like
Oh
2
my,
months?
like 45
Yeah.
days in a
Yeah.
row.
And I turn
pipe
up and I
every
just be like,
day.
oh, I don't know if I can, but you
Yes.
would. But yeah, that was great because it gave me a more opportunity, so I could put more time in, and
Yeah.
you know, obviously in the end, if you put enough time in and
You're gonna get a good one.
you really, really want it, you're gonna get something, you know, that's
Yeah.
half decent. Like, but you never know with those roll-in things that I'm up to as well. When those second, third reef days, it's often. I mean, maybe the good guys know what they're looking for. I'm just kind of like, it's got a bit of wall on it. We'll roll the dice.
But those ones you had that
But-
good winter were pretty damn sick.
They turned
Oh,
out.
The
yeah.
one mega one that you
Yeah.
covered like an insane amount of ground.
You were
cutting
in.
across.
I remember seeing your little face. You looked at me all weird like you did earlier. He did.
my God,
He was
yeah.
on the inside. He was like that.
It's Tom Lowe.
So I think he was thinking about going. I'm like,
like
no,
this-
don't go on
one
me,
of
bro.
these rolling
I
guys
thought we were
again.
friends. Yeah, they hate me.
He's on an 8-0.
Yeah,
Fucking
damn it.
Lowy.
Yeah, you've got some crazy.
There
ones.
was more than enough waves for everyone that winter.
Yeah.
By
we're-
the end of it, we were all done. We
No,
were
you
like,
couldn't-
please stop.
there was
no
no
more.
one was even surfing by the end of it.
No.
I remember one morning
Yeah.
it was as good as it gets, and it was just. I remember Jojo was over for a swell,
Uh-huh.
and you know, and then like Kalar, you know, he was out the back with me, and I was like, "This is the day
This
I'm
is
gonna get it." I
insane.
still didn't get it. Then you guys come out once the sun popped up, and everyone was just getting spat out. Everyone, I was like, "Damn!" I had my chance, and I
had my
pussied out
window.
on that good one on the inside. I headed out the back. I don't want it in there. No one was even in there. Yeah, you know, it's a different kettle of fish on the inside on them big days.
Boiling.
You got to go out on
Yeah.
different equipment and have a different frame of mind, I guess. And I don't know what.
It is kind of two different ways.
It's a different
Yeah,
way.
it really is.
Coasting in from the outside is, I mean, like you were saying, like you don't know which ones are good. If I go out there, I have no idea what wave is good. If I'm out there
Yeah.
trying to like chip into one, I'll just be looking at a wall like, I don't know.
I
Yeah.
tell you,
It's so hard to tell.
Wakita, still some, you know, he just gravitates towards that bomb.
He
And
goes
there
on
he
a lot
goes.
of bad waves though.
He does go on a
He is
lot of bad
mad.
waves.
Yeah, he just as soon, I think him, it's like if he gets a bomb that he can get into from right there, he's just gonna go,
He's gonna go.
and he just packs it.
But
How
that's
many
turned into a
seasons-
few like
How many seasons has he
Crazy
done?
ones.
an insane amount of
Like,
seasons
how
at
old is
pipe.
he? Is he like
I
60 or
don't
something?
know.
I don't know, but interestingly enough, I just spaced out on the name. How am I spacing out on the name? I forget who. Someone was telling me that Wakita wants to come on the podcast.
No way.
Yeah.
That'd be so cool.
Yeah, he's
We should
psyched.
get him on.
And he has insane pipe stories. Like
I bet,
insane
I
pipe
bet.
stories.
There's
Liam. That's how I was like, who is this person? I have a goldfish brain. Liam McNamara was called me and said he's psyched to come on, and Wakita would be psyched to come on.
Now you're getting me nervous. It means people actually listen to this thing. I thought it was just us guys and Zord.
But we don't even put these out. We just record them and listen to them later.
we have them on our phones just for us.
It's like, just the boys like Eli and all that.
We just wanted to get
this
you over
guy's a
here to
geek.
talk with us.
This geek
We're not
coffee.
even recording. Basically, there is like it does seem like there's like building, not
I can
dislike,
feel like it's going
but
that way.
guys are getting, people are getting, or
If you're
just
broke
the
the
main
sensor, you're getting sacked.
main masses are pretty negative towards the brands and the WSLs, and at the same
Yeah.
time as this is happening, like sentiment not very good with the fans. Guys are just getting axed left and
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
And then you see Carissa, Steph, gone, bailed tour.
Yeah.
And you wonder, like, oh, those are like two of the biggest names on the women's side in in the
are
tour?
the
Like
biggest, I would say.
Which out of like the big names on the male side are thinking about that?
I know.
I guess at the end of the day, there'll always be new radical shit
Yeah.
coming through, and that is just human nature, and everyone's just going to get better and be better than you, and
It'll
anyone
just
else,
cycle
and that is
through.
what it is.
Yeah.
But as far as levels, but as far as brand, it's just like I'm into the core of it where it starts. I love that old school kind of stuff,
Yeah.
but that's
Yeah, I
maybe
do
because
too.
I'm old and I need to get real and new and hip with it. I don't know what you're even
You're
talking
not
about.
into,
almost. Don't look at me like that.
You're not into
No eye
like the
contact.
TikTok scene. Do you have a TikTok?
No, do you? Should I? Set me one
Just
up.
kidding. We've been talking about TikTokers on here, just like how it's
And what's the
it's
other
kind of
one?
lame.
It's just been around forever. The other one.
Instagram.
No, I've got that. I'm all over that.
I wasn't sure how.
No,
old
the
you
other
were.
one.
The Snapchat.
It's Twitter.
Oh, the Twitter.
Twitter. That's
Do you
right.
do
X.
that?
No, I have one. I just don't. I'm not able to keep up on it.
Yeah, posting
Okay.
a YouTube video a month or a week is already like.
Yeah, that
Hard
takes
enough.
enough of the attention.
You have to do one every week.
I mean,
Well,
You
you
don't
try
have
to
to,
every
yeah, but
couple weeks. Like,
I try to stay consistent. I
Yeah.
see Nate does as well.
Yeah.
yeah,
I guess if you want to go like that route, you just got to try to keep it consistent. I
Yeah.
would say
yeah.
because it's all based on algorithms now. Like, and if it's favoring consistency, then you just have to be consistent.
Yeah. Well, count me out then.
Yeah.
I'm posted in Asia. I can't get any waves.
You've evolved
What
some
is
good
what is
footage,
your
though.
plan?
Yeah, we got the wank bank, but we're not going to bring that one out for a while.
That was like me and me hanging with Tom in Ireland, making him pull up all his every old edit he had and just study the thing over and over.
Yeah, the
If you guys
problem-
want to see a really good edit, Mordros
No, the problem with this guy
on YouTube.
is he studies and then he beats you at everything you've ever done.
Yeah.
And starts telling you where to sit at the spot you've been surfing.
told you where to sit.
For like 15, 20 years you've been out there like trying to surf the place and you think you've had a couple of alright ones and he's like, do you ever sit in here kind of style? I'm like, leave me alone. I know you're right, but I don't want to. The truth
The
hurts.
pressure.
No, it was great having him over. Like I feel like I needed that little like kick up the ass in a way as well
Push.
from like people that are like taking it next level. It's inspiring, So
Yeah.
and like the lads over there now, like the local lads. I mean, recently they've just been pushing the level
They're
too. Like,
turning up next
it
level.
goes through
Are they?
phases.
Yeah.
I've seen it happen before. I've seen waves of it, like where it goes,
Yeah.
everyone's paddling and it's just sick, and then it might go through a little
toe
kind of phase. And towing's obviously radical too, but there's a time and a place,
Yeah.
and sometimes it gets a bit mixed, and which is fine because we're all mates anyway. But I'd like it to be just like on them sort of not giant days like chopes and stuff. Like it'd be
Yeah.
nice if it was just like paddle only, and you could just knew that you could just look at the wave and not at the skis.
Yeah, you
and
can't
stuff.
split your attention.
I
That's the
spin
thing.
out when I
Like,
see him, and
It's
I
too
want them
much
to
of
get
splitting
them.
your attention
Yeah.
and losing the seconds you need to focus on. What does the wave even look like? Like you're looking at them, and it gets
It's-
confusing
yeah, it
for sure.
does. You can't
Yeah.
really feel out the lineup right, can you? But
Mhm.
the problem is you pussy out on like 99.9% of every single big set. So it's like they're like, well, he ain't going because we've
Yeah.
seen him out here before
Yeah.
many a time. But I'm like, no, but I'm up for it today. But there's been a few moments where I've been skimming in on a few big ones, and I've been like, I think this is the wave of my life, and then he's towing in next to me, and I've been like, oh. for God's
It's just
sake.
like
Yeah.
the difference is like that could change the game forever. You catching that wave, but it's not for them. Like
Well,
they're towing it,
they
like-
come out. They're like, oh, sorry, Lowe. Like I'm like, nah, bro. But I also believe in, like, that bigger picture vibe too. It's like the
Yeah.
wave comes to you when it's meant to, and like
It's true.
that's good. Thanks for letting me off the hook on that because I don't think I'd have made it or whatever.
Yeah, you're like, oh, thank
But-
God I didn't have to go on that way.
Yeah, exactly. Like, and it comes when it comes. It's waves are like that.
I would
Yeah.
have.
I'm gonna like not chase anything.
yeah, I
if
would have
can.
ridden that all the way to the end.
But that jet ski was towing someone in.
Well, I've
Had to
been
pull out.
I've been struggling being so far away from that Europe this winter. in
But you headed
particular.
back?
Don't know. Yeah, I'm definitely heading back in the next like couple of weeks, but I don't know whether to probably bail in the next week or not. I don't know, a bit early because the contest's on, and
Yeah.
it was like 6 foot the other day, and I'm like, oh, it looks fun, and it was just like I couldn't even imagine surfing it because it was so busy. So I just thought,
So
it's going to be
busy.
like that for a minute. But you know, Yeti are kicking around, like, so it's pretty cool to
Yeah.
be here and like meeting everyone. And so I'll probably just hang out until that's done and bail. But
It's a great place for your groms too.
we're living the dream, mate. I mean, like,
Yeah.
we love it here. Like,
Yeah.
that's the thing. Like, I don't think Tiger Lily, like my eldest, I've got two. You know, I've got the little 4-month-old, and then I've got Tiger Lily. She's 5, right? I don't think she understands what like going to England, seeing Nana and Granddad and Auntie Katie's involves.
Yeah.
It's like pretty much you just like got to put on like snow gear and like
Like
a
the
mask just to go
gnarliest
out for a
mission.
stroll. It's
Yeah.
like so cold, you're not going to be able to breathe, darling. Like, obviously it isn't. You adapt, but I'm telling you, she's going to be like, do we ever go outside? You know, but like
Yeah.
I guess you get used to it, but it's going to be a shock because over here
Yeah.
we're just like,
Yeah.
right, let's go and
anytime,
play down
anywhere.
yards. Let's go for a swim. Put the mask on, go and see some fish. We got Bluey, our little Trevally friend that comes up and says hello to us every day if we go down Sharks Cove.
Oh, that's
She's
epic.
like, Bluey! And I'm like, Bluey!
Yeah, you're
And then we
back.
go down there. I've got to get that GoPro out there, mate, but I just don't know how to work it. No, every time I turn
Technology.
it on, Tiger just comes in. She just freaks out. She loves
She-
little cameras and
yeah,
stuff. And
she
she's
wants
just
to
like,
get a
what's this
clip.
thing? And she runs off with it. And I'm like,
Yeah.
okay,
They
that's
love
that
it.
done.
That's awesome. All right.
On
should
that
we-
note, I'm like, shit,
Yeah.
I should probably like go and make dinner for him and,
Yeah, you can get out of here.
and wash him and chill. Yeah, the missus will be like,
Like, hello.
nah, she's not. She's super chill, but it
We'll send
always
you on
helps.
your way with a breadfruit and some mac nuts.
Yes, please.
But thanks for coming
sure,
on.
Yeah. It's great having you. Don't look it up.
Yeah. You super chill.
trying to
He's
download
kind of
knowledge.
tough.
Your pupils are a little dilated. Slack
I know what he
holes
took
over
before
here.
this.
Poor Cole has to deal with it solo sometimes. Just
I'm
me and
used to
him.
I'm
Just
not.
me and him,
I'm
like-
not. You know, I'm used to it in the lineup, and like, you know, we're not like on the couch here. He's looking pretty weird.
Yeah. No, thanks for coming in. And thank you guys for watching. You guys like this video, subscribe to the channel. Check us out on Apple, Spotify, YouTube,
And check Tom out.
Yeah.
He's on Instagram, Tom Lowe,
TikTok.
TikTok, and he's got a great edit on YouTube, Mordros.
Why'd you pick that one?
Because that's the one I watch the most.
That's the only one he can remember.
Yeah, that's true. No, In Winter's Arms better than that. In Winter's Arms, that's my favorite.
I like the Mordros one.
Okay. You're like, yeah, that's not that gnarly, bruv.
It's the Mordros one is just like I like the storytelling in it. The narration's cool. You
Yeah,
should watch it.
I
It's
did
really
that
good.
in Portugal on my little phone, sent it to Mickey.
It's so
And he put
good.
it
It's so
together
well
in, like,
done.
10 minutes.
All
Nah,
right,
he
guys.
didn't.
We'll see you later.
All right. Bye.